This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Another mass shooting, this time in a hospital in Oklahoma. We have new information for you this morning, including reaction from someone inside when it all happened. Plus.
And I get this call from this guy. He says, "Hey, lady, I have your wallet." And I'm like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, the wallet was stolen, but now it's been returned. Coming up this morning, how that woman was reunited with a family photo more than 80 years old.
And we also have an event for you this morning known as Berries, Brews, and Barbecues. You'll find it out here on the farm at French Prairie Gardens in St. Paul. We are out in the fields this morning. The strawberry fields right next to us on this Thursday morning. Brenda, Nina, Rodney, we're going to do a little strawberry picking because that's part of the Berries, Brews, and Barbecues event. That segment coming up this morning at about 5:15.
The field's looking good this morning, Drew. Thank you. I had to really peer because I couldn't see him in that over the sign, but now I see your little head poking out.
I know, it's a pretty nice morning out there. It's
beautiful.
mild, right?
In the 50s, partly cloudy skies up top. And by the way, something special about Oregon strawberries. I don't know what
they
it is.
are the best.
They are the best.
Yes.
They really are. Those big things from
You need
California.
to eat them the day you get them because they don't last long, but they're so good.
They're incredible. Here's the Stoller Family Vineyards Estate Cam down in Dayton. Partly cloudy skies, beautiful morning. You see Mount Hood right there. We are dry and we are in the 50s, which of course kind of expect to be this time of the year. 56 is the temperature outside. The bus stop, we're all dry during the school day. I think 70 at noon and then 76 when the kids get out of school. Now later today going into this evening, there's at least a chance that we would see a shower or a thunderstorm here in the valley. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Thank you, Rod.
Honestly, I never thought in a million years I'd be going through this, but here I am.
That man is reacting to America's latest mass shooting. He was inside St. Francis Hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma when it happened. A gunman stormed the building yesterday afternoon with a rifle and a handgun, killing 4 people and wounding 10 others. Tulsa police say the gunman fatally shot himself as officers kicked in a stairwell door to enter the hospital. Police have not revealed the name of the shooter, but say the man was between 35 and 40 years old. They also say this attack wasn't random. Officers didn't elaborate on the motive, but say the gunman, quote, made a choice to come here and his actions were deliberate. You know, there's also some new developments in the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas this morning. Investigators are going through the phone they found inside a classroom next to the shooter's body last week. A judge just signed off on the search warrant. It gives police access to everything, including the gunman's social media, photos, and videos. In the meantime, Uvalde's police chief is taking heat for reportedly refusing to cooperate with state investigators. The Texas Department of Public Safety says the chief has yet to do a follow-up interview and isn't returning calls, but the city's mayor says otherwise.
It's a source that leaked because I did talk to someone, my own good source, that Mr. Arredondo has talked to the DPS every day and continues to talk to the DPS.
Reports show the police chief was the responding commander the day of the shooting. He ordered officers to remain outside Robb Elementary for more than an hour before federal agents stormed the building and killed the 18-year-old gunman.
I look at it from a risk versus probability lens, and I think that the risk and the probability is much higher that we will have an unintentional discharge of a firearm or intentional discharge of a firearm from a concealed handgun.
School safety now, of course, top of mind for parents and school leaders all over the country. And last night, a Portland Public Schools policy committee discussed how it could improve safety on school grounds. And at some point, even proposed a ban on all guns on campus, even for those with a concealed carry permit. That decision would be protected by a bill passed in Oregon last year, though PPS has not done that. But the topic of school safety has some people asking if school resource officers should return to the districts that took them off their campuses. Devin Haskins joins us with more on that debate. Devin?
Yeah, Nina, trying to determine how effective SROs are in preventing a school shooting is hard to answer. SROs are police officers stationed in schools who are usually armed. According to a 2018 report from the Congressional Research Service, the results found the effectiveness is unknown. That same year, the Washington Post looked at nearly 200 incidents of gunfire at schools since the Columbine shooting in Colorado in 1999 and found that in one instance, a resource officer did stop an active shooter. KGW heard from parents, a student, and a school resource officer about bringing SROs back. Some parents say it makes them feel safer. A student we talked to disagreed, and a school resource officer KGW spoke with says it's about preventing violence through developing relationships.
Why wait for it to happen again? Why not use it as a deterrent or use it if necessary?
If we want to prevent gun violence, we have to get to the root cause of the issue, and police will not fix that, and they will never fix that.
The SRO is just one component, along with school administrators, parents, community, faith-based community services. All those come into play.
All right, so here's a look at some of the districts that have SROs, some without. Salem, Kaiser, Portland, and Forest Grove school districts do not have them. Beaverton School Districts does. But for how long is uncertain. And up north in Vancouver, the district has what are called district resource officers. They're employed by the district and trained by law enforcement. Brenda?
Thank you, Devin. Also in your headlines this morning, the homeless village in Old Town is closing for good. It's at the corner of Northwest 6th and Hoyt. All Good Northwest helps with mental health and housing. Staffers say this location has become too dangerous for workers and the people they serve. The Joint Office of Homeless Services, which oversees the village, couldn't find another nonprofit to take over management, so they decided to shut it down starting the middle of this month. Officials are now working to house more than 40 people living at this Old Town location. A man accused in 3 separate homicides in Portland will be committed to the state hospital. A judge ruled Joseph Banks cannot assist in his own defense and can't stand trial. Banks is accused of fatally shooting 3 men in what investigators suspect were random attacks. He's been diagnosed in the past with schizophrenia and has a criminal history that's kept him in federal custody for most of the last 10 years. And doctors at Portland's Providence Cancer Institute are making history. They announced a potential breakthrough in treating pancreatic cancer. They're the first in the world to use what's known as adoptive cell therapy. It's a complicated process, but essentially it reprograms white blood cells to recognize and kill cancer. It worked for one patient. Now they plan to run trials for others. They say this isn't a cure, but it sure is promising. And those are some of your morning headlines.
Well, you know, we report on a lot of theft cases in Portland. With the scale of break-ins and stolen cars or trailers, typically those victims never see their stuff again.
But this is not one of those cases. Catherine Cook shows us how an 80-year-old family treasure found its way back home.
Norma Cron Gardner was 15 when she smiled for this photo. That was nearly 80 years ago. Faded and worn, the picture still means the world to Norma's daughter, Chris Harrison.
I think this picture held my mom and dad together while he was away.
Chris's father, Benjamin, carried Norma's photo all through Europe during World War II. It gave him hope.
When he came back, in a year or 2, they got married.
So it just makes sense that Chris has long carried this same precious picture in her own wallet.
I enjoyed having it there because I knew she was there, and it was a nice little reminder.
Last summer, Chris, who lives in Atlanta, came to Portland to visit her daughter. She stopped into this Trader Joe's on Northeast Halsey, and it was there, Chris says, that someone bumped into her and stole her wallet.
And I was just devastated. I was crying. We were going to leave the next day.
Chris filed a police report, but she never thought she'd see her wallet or her treasured photo again. 8 months went by.
And I get this call from this guy. He says, "Hey, lady, I have your wallet." And I'm like, yeah, right.
It's fine. I kind of expected it.
This is Randall Bear. He promises he did not steal Chris's wallet.
Plus, I understand how hard it is to lose your wallet. It's happened to me.
But he did find it. Right here, he says, tucked into this tree in a McDonald's parking lot just a few blocks from Trader Joe's. He noticed Chris's phone number on a medical card and called her.
I just said, I'm going to leave it in the McDonald's. You can come pick it up.
I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sure you did, but I was very skeptical.
Then Chris remembered her police report. The responding officer had told her, call him anytime. She did. He went by McDonald's. The wallet was there.
Credit cards missing and money missing, obviously, but the picture was still in there. And I'm like, oh, you're kidding me.
The officer mailed Chris her wallet the very next day.
To thank the police officer, Chris mailed him 2 Trader Joe's gift cards. But he mailed them right back to her, saying thanks, but accepting them would be against bureau policy.
As for Randall, Chris is sending him a reward and an apology.
I am so ashamed of the way I talked to him at first because, in this day and age, it's so hard to trust people.
She got it after a while.
Turns out somewhere in this wallet, maybe near Norma's smile, was one last lesson from Mom.
Don't give up on humankind because humans can be kind.
In Northeast Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Isn't that so good? Yeah.
Restoring your faith in
Yeah,
humanity.
no kidding. And she got that precious photo back. Her beautiful mom.
Yeah.
So,
The
yeah,
only
we like that story.
Bad part about the story, the sad part of that story, is that the cop couldn't accept the Trader Joe gift card. Everything else was
Ron,
fantastic.
I thought you were for sure going to talk about McDonald's fries.
I did too. That's where I thought he was going.
Pick up a pack of fries.
Enjoyed that McDonald's was in the story. Here's a look at radar this morning. No, what a great story. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we have scattered showers out across northeastern Oregon this morning. Radar indicating there might starting to be a touch of some light precip along the coast. Not much of anything. We are dry and partly cloudy up and down the valley. Here's our Lincoln City camera from Chinook Winds Casino Resort. And that looks like there could definitely be a little spritz of some light moisture falling from kind of a foggy cloud bank hovering near the coast. 54 degrees the temperature. We have partly cloudy skies overall being reported throughout the Portland-Salem area. Here's our Rose City camera. Early morning number 57. Very pleasant to step outside and get your day going. Here are the other temps. We have some warm ones. There's the Dalles at 65. Coolest spot would be out in Burns, 46 degrees. Okay. The overwhelming big story today across our region is this. This is 4 o'clock this afternoon. We're in Central Oregon. We're in Eastern Oregon. All these bright colors expected to be big, strong thunderstorms with heavy downpours, maybe some, intense flash flooding at the time of the downpours, lightning, hail, all of that. So this is expected to be a big outbreak. Now notice up and down I-5 we're dry. I do believe there's at least the chance later today and this evening that we could see a scattered shower pop along the Cascades and migrate into the valley. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Overnight tonight, here we are at 9:30. Overnight tonight for the west side, the chance of picking up rain actually increases. There's a weak front that comes through tonight. Here we are tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. showing some rain through Longview and Portland and passing down through Salem. And then there's a shower chance continuing tomorrow, but not a lot of rain. There will be more thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon across eastern Oregon. There we are at 5:30. And yes, we still have all that rain expected to be coming in for the weekend. All right, for today. Another warm one. Salem, you did it. You hit 80 yesterday. Portland stopped at 79, by the way. More upper 70s today, partly sunny. That possibility of a late day shower storm. Most of us probably stay dry, just a chance, so keep that in mind. Similar numbers up through southwest Washington. Here are the 7-day numbers. It still looks like periods of steady rain on Saturday, rain to showers on Sunday. That's wet, and then we warm up next week. Who would be in St. Paul? Who is the favorite son of St. Paul this morning? Is it Drew Carney?
Good morning, Rodney. We are checking out one of my favorite places to visit this time of the year. It is St. Paul, Oregon, French Prairie Gardens, and we are surrounded by strawberries. In the strawberry fields because we're getting ready for an event known as Berries, Brews, and Barbecues, our live preview from the strawberry fields. Coming up next here on Sunrise.